Hello, my name's Lynn Davis, and the long jump was my event. I didn't start really until I was almost 18 years old, but was lucky enough to find myself a good coach, and through a lot of hard work and determination, managed to get to the very top in athletics. I learned a lot in the 12 years that I was competing, and today I'd like to pass on to you some of the tips and techniques that I've learned about the event. Why don't you join me?
Lynn Davis is the most successful long jumper Britain has ever produced. Former Commonwealth, European and Olympic champion, he has always been considered an outstanding long jump stylist. Lynn Davis is now an international coach and a British Olympic team manager.
In front of me, find a space. That's good. Before any athletic event, especially the long jump, it's very important to do some warming up exercises because it's a demanding event on the muscles. It's an explosive event, and you put the muscles under a lot of strain. We're going to do some general flexibility exercises to stretch the different parts of the body, and that prepares you for long jumping. So just watch me, and the first one, a nice easy one, is arms circling, legs astride, arms by your side, and nice circles there, raising on your toes as well. Okay, off we go. Right, good circles, 10 of these. Really raise up on your toes, that's good. That's good, come on, circle up, that's better. Good circles. Arms as close to your ears as possible. Really stretch, come on, feel your back stretch, feel your stomach stretch. And change to forwards, over the top. The other way, that's it. That's good. Good, and relax. Next part now is the trunk, the stomach and the back. Very important parts of the body in long jumping. Watch my hands, they're creating a big circle. Look, there, up, lean back, and down. Now you have a go. Off you go. Really good circles. Come on, lean back as you're doing it. There. Notice as I'm doing the exercise that I'm getting as big a range of movement as possible. Next part of the body now are the hips and backs of the legs, which are very important in long jump for that mid-air action in the flight. So have a look at this one, then we'll have a go at it. First of all, legs astride there, in that position. Get into that position. Hands on your thighs, keep your body straight there, and then press down with your body as low as you possibly can, keeping your back leg straight. So let's press down there. So you feel the stretch on the inside. Okay, and we'll change. Right leg forward, and really feel the stretch coming down there on the inside of the thigh. Very important in long jumping. Come on, really press down, 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 press, press. That's good. And spread out, find a space, and we'll do one more exercise again for the legs, because obviously these are the most important part in long jump. Legs astride there. Have a look first of all, as far as you can. Cross your arms, and then the aim here is to try and get your elbows on the ground by pressing down slowly and rhythmically. So we press down, down, and down. So you really feel a good stretch effect in the thighs and the backs of the legs. But these improve with practice. The more stretching exercises you do, the more supple you become. So let's see some good stretching. Right, that was good. And relax. Right, they were just a few flexibility exercises, 4 or 5. There are lots more, obviously, and it's something that you're going to have to work at because we said before, flexibility is a very important part of athletic training. And this is something you have to work at in order to get the range of movement which are going to make you better long jumpers. So let's go over now to the long jump pit and see how we get on there. Okay, if you can follow me, off we go. So what is long jumping? Well, basically it's an athletic event which tests the ability of a man or woman to jump as far as possible into a sand pit. If you look at the marker down there, you get some idea of the distances that people are jumping today. Men are jumping almost 9 meters, and women are now jumping well over 7 meters. So obviously it's an event which has progressed tremendously. Basically, it's a fairly simple event in that you're trying to jump as high as you can at the end of a long, fast run. And that's what gives you your distance in the actual event. The event is made more difficult by the existence of this 8-inch takeoff board from which you have to jump. There's a green strip of plasticine beyond the board. If you hit that or go into that, it means you're beyond the board, and that counts as a no jump. So your foot must be on the board as close as possible to the end of the board without actually going over it. There are three main elements in the event. The first is an approach run of between 30 and 40 meters, depending upon how many strides you want to take. That's followed by a fast, explosive takeoff from the takeoff board. Then you have the mid-air flight in the air, and then a landing at the end in which you get your feet as far forward as possible to give you your maximum distance. But by far the most important part of the event is the long jump run-up, because you have to hit that 8-inch board. So what we're going to do now is move over onto the track, establish a run-up with you of 15 or 17 strides to make sure that when you come back onto the runway, you're going to hit the takeoff board with your same foot every time. Okay? Off we go. Right, we've just had a chat about the importance of having an accurate approach run in which your takeoff foot hits the board every time. Now the way to do this is away from the long jump run-up and actually on the track itself. And this is the way we do it. We establish a line on the track and we place the non-takeoff foot on the line there. Foot behind, in a sprinting position, leaning forward, you drive off the line, and I want you to run 15 strides down the track as quickly as you can. I'll be down that end, marking where your 15th stride arrives, and that hopefully will be the run-up that we transfer onto the long jump runway. Okay, so if you could line up then behind me on the track. And we'll have the first jumper to take up position. That's it, so you jump off your right leg. Right, weight on your foot. And don't forget to drive away really hard, sprint well from the start, and I'll be down there marking your position. When you're ready, Natalie, drive away hard from the start and build up your acceleration. Good, well done. So I'm actually marking her 15th stride with a piece of tape on the track. That's where a takeoff foot will be. You can use anything to do this. You can use a running shoe, a pencil, anything to indicate where the 15th stride arrived. When you're ready, concentrate now and accelerate past me. Well done, Dawn. That's good. That's what we're looking for, is that surge, that acceleration, that speed over the last 4 or 5 strides. That's what's going to give you your distance in long jump. Right, the next one, please. Off we go.
Once the correct distance of each youngster's approach run has been determined on the track, it should then be transferred onto the actual long jump runway. The simplest way to achieve this is by each youngster marking out the length of his or her run-up by walking heel to heel from the actual takeoff board back up the runway, and then marking the start point with a piece of tape or small object.
That now represents Dawn's 15th stride, which we've just worked out on the track. We've now translated the length of that run onto the actual long jump runway. The aim now is to stand on that mark, on the marks that you've worked out, face the takeoff board and run in exactly the same way as you did on the track itself. 15 strides, aiming to accelerate into the board. Don't jump, just run across the board, hit the board as quickly as you can, as if you're running as quickly as you can, move across the board at speed, and we'll see how it works out. I'm looking for 2 things. One is your foot striking the takeoff board, and the other one is you running at top speed. So concentrate on good running technique, nice drive with the arms, lift your knees, and think of accelerating as you come across the board. You're not actually taking off, you're going to run across the board at top speed. So let's go for it. Natalie, you were first. Good, fine. That was excellent. You started off at the right speed, the right rhythm. You build up speed, and I like the way you run across the board and hit it accurately at speed. Wind caught you then? A little bit? Did you feel the wind against?
Slightly.
Just a little bit, yeah. that stopped you running, but you're also slowing down at the takeoff board. You know, you weren't running anywhere near fast enough across there to jump a long way. We said that in long jump, speed is the main thing, and what you've got to do is really charge in, accelerate, surge from 5 or 6 strides out. So you're really hitting that board at top speed. Okay, the accuracy was fine. You've just got to concentrate on running harder and attacking the board. Right. Round about that much behind the takeoff board. So again, bring you a foot length forward, 1 foot length there, the run up forward, 1 foot length, and that should bring you right onto the takeoff board. Otherwise, the running was good and you were accelerating as you're coming into the board, which is good. Right, we've talked about the approach run and the importance of accuracy in hitting the board with the same takeoff foot every time. Now let's have a chat about the long jump takeoff. The best way to learn this, I think, and I did the same myself, is to use the top section of a box or any kind of box that you can find, because it's something that will give you height to take off by planting your foot there. It lifts your body into the air and gives you time to perform the takeoff movement. Now let's discuss the important things in takeoff. The first one is that the takeoff should be a natural extension of your running action. We said the important thing is to develop your top speed by the time you hit the takeoff board, because only in that way will you achieve enough momentum to take you out there across the sand and get your maximum distance. The movement is this. As you come running in, you place your takeoff foot on the box top, and then you think of driving this non-takeoff leg through as high as you can and holding that position out into the sand. That's the most important part of the takeoff. I'll show you. As you come running in, just think of driving up and landing in the sand. Off we go. Drive. That's good. That's a good one. That was excellent, because he's really thinking of driving from the hip, driving the knee up, and holding a good position in the air. Think of hips up and chest up. Off we go. That's good. I like that. Excellent. Really nice drive, and the leg coming down to land. You jumped there with a straight leg, which I noticed yesterday in your long jumping. As you took off there, you threw your leg through straight instead of driving the knee up and then straightening the leg. So just concentrate on this knee driving up. Otherwise, okay. Right. That's good. Right, we've talked about the importance of an accurate approach run where the takeoff foot arrives on the takeoff board, the same foot every time, the 8-inch takeoff board. Now we're going to talk about the importance of the actual takeoff, where you're converting your running speed into vertical lift at takeoff, but you're trying to get off the ground as high as you can from the takeoff board. To do that, you must maintain your running speed over the last 5 or 7 strides, so you're maintaining momentum right across the board. You then convert your running speed off the board by almost exaggerating the running action. So as you're coming into the takeoff board, the takeoff foot is planted there, normal running action, and you drive the non-takeoff leg up as high as you can and lift the hips and lift the chest. So you're really going for height off the board. I'll do one of 5 or 7 strides, and then I'd like you to have a try and see if you can do it. Let's have a look. So as you come running in, the takeoff foot is planted hard on the board. Drive this thigh up there, normal running action, and try and sprint off the board. Off we go, Dawn. Good effort. Again, you're going into a pike position there. You're sitting at takeoff, right? I want you to try and think of staying tall at takeoff. Keep your hips, don't sit in that position. Keep your hips tall and drive off the board. That's what I'm looking for, a nice tall position at takeoff. Otherwise, good effort. Well done. And lift. Not really getting your hips up or getting your chest up. Really think of driving up off the board. And you should do lots of those from 5 and 7 strides to develop a good takeoff action. It's not an easy position to get into where you have to drive the leg up and maintain a good straight body position with high hips and a high chest. But you have to do lots of practice over 5 and 7 strides. Now the next phase is the flight and landing. And they follow on from the actual takeoff position itself. If you have a good takeoff position, you should go into a good body position and a good landing. Because once you've left the ground, there's nothing you can do in the air in a long jump to improve your distance. It's determined at takeoff. So all you can do is to create a good body position and a good landing. Now, what is a good body position in long jump? Well, it's a long, extended position which can be created by either doing a hang technique or a hitch kick technique, where you keep your hips high, your chest high, and you circle the legs underneath the body. The aim of this technique is to stop the forward rotation which occurs as a result of the long jump takeoff. If you think of your body traveling along, it hits the takeoff point and starts rotating. If your body is leaning forward, you can't get your legs up for a good landing at the end to give you your maximum distance. So what we do to learn the flight is use an elevated takeoff, a box top or a bench or any kind of box you can find, jump from this, and that gives us time in the air to perform the movement of getting a nice long extended body. Just have a look at that and then you can have a go yourselves. Let's have a look. So, come running in, drive, extend, and land. Right, now I'd like you to have a go at that, and I'll be looking for 3 things. A good drive up of the non-takeoff leg, good extension of the body in the flight, and a good attempt at a landing where your heels come up as high as they can and go for maximum distance. Doesn't matter if you sit down, because you haven't got enough speed at the moment to take your body over your heels. So those 3 things I'll be looking for. Let's jog up and let's have a go. Off we go. Good effort. You're still piked in the air. I never saw that nice body shape which is going to slow down that rotation. If you can get the chest up and your hips up, your legs can come through for a good landing. So concentrate the next time on really getting that shape in the air. Right, you drove off there, but you just kept your leg out there without trying to pull it back and get your hips and chest through, okay? The next time, try and think of getting your hips forward and your chest up. So you've got this long shape in the air, which will allow you to get a good landing. That's good. That's a nice range of movement at takeoff. You can still hold it for a little bit longer because your legs came through just a little bit too soon and you landed almost upright there. I'd like to see the legs coming up underneath the body so your heels are as far out from your body as they possibly can. Right, we've talked about the technique of long jump takeoff. I'm going to show you now 3 exercises in progression which will help you develop the muscles and the actual technique of takeoff at the same time. Because one of the hardest things in long jump is to transfer your running speed into getting lift off the ground. I think you found that already. So let's have a look at the first one, which is called repetition takeoffs from one foot, from your takeoff leg onto the other leg, and we do that as many times as we can over about 40 or 50 meters. So let me show you that one first of all. The aim is to adopt the takeoff movement in the long jump by a very strong, powerful takeoff where you're lifting your hips, you're lifting your body off the ground. Remember the point about driving the non-takeoff leg up as high as you can and holding that position in the air. And that'll give you sufficient strength to handle the takeoff in the long jump. The second one is a progression from there where we do the same takeoff position but 2 strides in between, where again you're trying to lift your body off the ground, getting your hips tall, your chest up, and you're maintaining that good position in the air. The third exercise, a little bit more difficult because you have to coordinate in between the hurdles. Concentrate on lift by driving the rear leg behind and the takeoff leg as high as you can in front. This is a slightly tougher exercise because now we're asking our legs to absorb the weight of our body as we're going down. And this obviously is going to help long jumping, because in long jump, you're trying to lift your body off the ground. In here, we're taking our body weight down onto our leg. It's absorbing the weight, and we're coming up again out of it. So basically, we're looking for hopping from box to ground to box to ground, and finishing off with a good long jump position and a good landing in the sand. Okay, keep it going. Active landing, drive, use your arms for balance, drive and lift. Well done. Keep your momentum moving forwards, that's it. Active landing, flex that hopping leg and lift. Well done. Come on, Dawn. Arms, 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 keep it going. Well done. Right, now we've covered all the main parts of the event, the run-up, the takeoff, flight and landing. What I want you to do now is to put all that together in a good long jump going for distance. Off we go.
Always try and complete each training or teaching session with a competitive situation. Encourage the youngsters to use their full approach run and to attempt the longest jump they feel capable of producing at their stage of development. This competitive spirit will help lift the enthusiasm of the youngster from the outset of the teaching process.
So now we've established the main principles of the long jump. Let's recap on some of the main points of the event. Basically, there are three elements: an approach run, a takeoff, and a flight followed by the landing. In the approach run, the long jumper is attempting to attain maximum speed at takeoff. That's followed by a very powerful controlled takeoff, in which the long jumper then attempts to get height, an extended body position which slows down his rotation and thus enables him to get his feet up at the end, a good landing position, and attain maximum distance. But let's not forget that the event is not just about good technique. It's also about achieving a fairly high level of physical fitness and good leg power. To achieve leg power and back strength and good physical condition, you have to perform a lot of the drills and the exercises and the activities that we've seen with the athletes today. You don't have to want to become an Olympic champion to get that same sense of fun and enjoyment yourself. The main thing for you is to attain your own personal level of achievement, your own personal level of excellence. To do that requires hard work, but if you're prepared to devote some of your life to it, then I'm sure that you can achieve your own personal goal. So I'd like to wish you the very best of luck in your athletics and good long jumping.